Thank you for being here on our Board of Commissioners meeting this May 13th, 2025. Today, I'm pleased providing our invocation is Reverend Dr. Jay Jones. He is with Holistic Life Church. He'll be providing the invocation that will be followed by the pledge, which will be brought by Deputy Childers of Court Security. Those of you who are willing and able, please stand for both our invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, we come before you in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Today, we lift up our Cobb County Commissioners to you. Cover them with your protection and keep them under the shelter of your presence. Renew their minds and refresh their spirits, ease the burdens of stress and fatigue, grant them clarity of thought and purpose as they face the responsibilities before them. Bless their relationships at home, among friends, and within this community. Strengthen the bonds that sustain them personally as they carry out the work of leadership. Surround them with your angels, guide their steps, and direct every decision that they make. Even when choices are difficult or met with disagreement, give them the courage to lead with wisdom and integrity, always striving for what is best for our county's future. We also pray for our great nation, the state of Georgia, and the people of Cobb County, including every city and every municipality within it. Bless our public servants at every level, local, state, regional, and federal. We lift our law enforcement officers, emergency responders, firefighters, and all who serve our community, regardless of title and role. And as we approach Memorial Day this month, we pause with gratitude and reverence to remember the men and women who gave their lives in service to our nation. We honor their courage, their sacrifice, and their unwavering commitment to the cause of freedom. We pray for all those who currently serve at home and abroad. Strengthen and protect them, grant wisdom to our leaders, and bring unity to our land. May we always strive to be a people worthy of the sacrifice so many have made. This moment, this day, this minute, we continue to give you all the honor, praise, and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
You all please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Reverend Jones, and also Deputy Childers for being here this morning. Before we get started, I would just like for you to please join me in recognizing we do have a new face that's on the dais, our Commissioner Eric Allen. He now represents District 2, and we're grateful to have you. You can help me in welcoming him. Thank you. With that, we will now call our meeting to order. We have 5 presentations this morning, and the first one will be here to present a proclamation for National Public Works Week. For those of you who are here as a part of this proclamation, please join the Commissioner up front.
So public works professionals support the infrastructure, services, and facilities that keep Cobb County safe, healthy, and resilient. These essential services are delivered by dedicated engineers, managers, and staff across the government and private sectors. Their work ensures the daily health, safety, and well-being of Cobb residents and visitors. National Public Works Week, established in 1960, honors these professionals and their vital contributions. This year's theme, People, Purpose, Presence, highlights how meeting the needs of people gives Public Works its purpose, and how without fanfare, Public Works is always present in our communities. We, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, proclaim May 18th through 24th, 2025, as National Public Works Week in Cobb County, and encourage the community to recognize these contributions, presented this 13th day of May, 2025. And I want to say personally, thank each and every one of you for choosing Cobb County to either begin, continue your career. We could not do the work of the serving people without you, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Honored to have you here and your first proclamation to be for this purpose. And thank you to the Board of Commissioners for their support of the Public Works professionals. Of course, there's not a Public Works department here at Cobb County, but the faces that you see up here are just a few of those that take care of the facilities, the roads, the vehicles, the parks, the water system every day. And we had a director years ago that used to refer to DOT as a 25/8 department, meaning that if a road falls in the middle of the night, that it's DOT staff that goes out there, or a tree falls in the road, and the same applies to all of these departments. I know Fleet, the work that they do, make sure that the public safety vehicles can stay on the road. The work that water does, make sure that the water pressure and that all of us have safe, clean drinking water. So the purpose of Public Works Week is to just shine a light on the faces of Public Works and their commitment to this community, to the service of the people that live, reside, and work and play here in Cobb County. So thank you so much, Commissioner. Stack up, people.
Stare, please.
All right, they'll have to. Here we go. Everybody's blinking. Okay, thank you.
Good job. Okay, first up. All righty, our next presentation will be to recognize, though, with the Chattanooga Gymnastics team. For those of you who are here as a part of that presentation, please join our commissioner up front.
Thank you for joining us this morning. It is with great pleasure that I get to give this certificate of recognition to the Chattanooga Gymnastics team. The Cobb County Board of Commissioners proudly recognizes you as the first U.S. team ever invited to the world's largest gymnastic event, the German Turnfest in Lippitz, Germany. This historic achievement is a testament to your commitment to excellence as well as your dedication to promoting inclusion in the sport. Performing in the International Gala alongside over 100 gymnasts of all ages and abilities, you exemplify the values of leadership, dedication, and community. This is the 13th day of May, 2025. And then we also have a letter from Commissioner Burrell for you to give to the mayor when you go.
Thank you very much for this. We actually have a meeting with the mayor of Leipzig when we're there to present this letter. So we're very happy to represent Cobb County and to promote inclusion around the world. Dana, would you like to say something?
I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Enjoy the trip. You're welcome.
Okay, our next proclamation will be to recognize those who are here with Drug Treatment Court. For those of you who are here as a part of this proclamation, please join our commissioner up front.
Your honors. Good morning. How are you? Jason. Good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor to present this national award to Drug Treatment Court, one of 10 of over 3,000 courts in the nation. And they have been recognized through the All Rise program as a national mentor court. You know, we are very fortunate in Cobb to have all the accountability courts that we have. And I think, is this the longest one, original?
I believe
From
it was.
when
I
you
think over Judge
started it?
Believe so.
I think it's, yeah, the oldest of all the accountability. We've grown a lot, and they're all successful. It gives folks a second chance, and I've been to many of the graduations. I've missed a few, but I'm known for being a regular because it's so impressive and so inspiring to see these young or old men and women graduate through this great program. So, whereas the Cobb County Drug Treatment Court was established in 2002 by order of Chief Judge Michael Stoddard, with the first session held in 2003 under the leadership of Judge George Krieger, as an innovative alternative to incarceration for individuals with substance use disorders. And whereas the program spans 18 to 24 months and utilizes a combination of intensive supervision, evidence-based treatment, and recovery support to promote accountability and rehabilitation, preparing participants to re-enter society as a productive and law-abiding citizen. Whereas the Drug Treatment Court's continued success is a testament to the dedication and collaborative efforts of Judges George Krieger, Mary Staley, Kimberly Childs, and Jason Marbut, as well as the unwavering support of the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office, the Circuit Defender's Office, Cobb Works, Department of Community Supervision, Superior Court staff, and local treatment providers. And whereas All Rise, the premier organization in treatment court training and advocacy, has honored the Cobb County Drug Treatment Court with the distinguished designation as a national mentor court, an honor reserved for only 10 courts among the over 3,000 nationwide. Following a rigorous selection process that acknowledges exemplary performance, innovation, and best practices in the field. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby recognize and commend the Cobb County Drug Treatment Court for its outstanding commitment to addressing substance use disorders through collaboration, accountability, and rehabilitation, and celebrate being named a National Mentor Court by All Rise, a distinction that reflects its leadership and excellence in transforming lives and advancing justice. This is the 13th day of May, 2025. Congratulations. Let's start with do you want to say a few words? And I'll get there.
I really have a question, and that is, how many lives do you think we have saved with this drug treatment court, Judge Marvin?
Well, so he asks me, of course, I knew he was going to ask this question, and I told him I know who will know the answer to that question, and that is Portia, because she is our drug treatment coordinator. And the folks standing in front of you represent a team. Drug treatment court is a team. It's about different agencies coming together within the judicial system to remove stigma and to save lives. And we need a leader of that team internally. I get to be the figurehead as the presiding judge, but really we all know who's doing most of the work behind the scenes, keeping us all on track. Portia, what's the answer to that question?
Thus far, over 750 lives we have saved.
She said over 750. And I will tell you, that answer is those are the folks who have graduated the program, because it's not an automatic that you'll make it through the program, but we still, I think, improve the lives of the folks who endure the program but can't quite make it to the finish line. And there's the indirect saving of lives as well. So thank you to the Board of Commissioners for recognizing the work that we've been doing. We're going to continue to do that work as long as you'll let us. Thank you.
Chris, do you want to say anything? Well, this is quite an honor, and we appreciate recognizing you. The staff, Jennifer, good to see you all outside the courtroom, Portia. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you do, and we really appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Snyder, for coming. Now we'll get a picture. You want us in the middle?
Yes. Okay. Yes. There we go. Robert, I'm seeing on pictures you're behind me, so you got to slide over. There we go.
There you go. Here we go. 3, 2, and I got you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rose is here, and I haven't seen her.
All righty, those who are here with respect to Building Safety Month, please join our commissioner up front.
How are you guys? Good morning.
Good morning, Hayes.
All right.
Sir.
It's good to see you guys this morning. Whereas Cobb County recognizes that our growth and strength depend on the safety and essential role of our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play, both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of these structures is achieved through the dedication of vigilant professionals, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure excellence. And whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a nonprofit that brings together expert local, state, territorial, tribal, and federal officials to create and implement the highest quality codes and standards. These protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, and play. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors, our code officials, who assure us of safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Building Safety Month and express our appreciation for the officials who high standards help protect lives and property throughout the community. This, the 13th day of May, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner, and we appreciate your recognition this morning. One of the things I'm so proud of this team, during the pandemic, every single day they were in the office reviewing plans, issuing permits. They were out in the field doing inspections because building safety never stops. It is public safety. So we really appreciate all that they do. It was instrumental in keeping our local economy moving through that time. And this is one of the most dedicated, educated, just skilled group of professionals that I've ever worked with, and I'm so proud of them. And everybody who today is still out in the field doing those inspections and in the office issuing permits and reviewing plans. I just thank you all for your continued commitment to Cobb County, to building safety, and also to your own professional development as you continue picking up new certifications and just making us all proud every day. So thank you. All right.
Okay, last but not least, those of you who are here as a part of the presentation for economic development, please join me up front. Good morning, ladies. All right. Whereas Cobb County Economic Development is committed to driving business attraction and retention, fostering small business and entrepreneurship support, cultivating workforce development, job creation, and infrastructure improvements, and whereas economic development professionals serve as stewards, bridging connections between community stakeholders, industry executives, elected officials, and institutions of higher education that boost economic prosperity, enhance our quality of life, and build a robust tax base. Whereas Cobb County has made measurable progress to prepare for the demands of the modern economy, thus positioning our county as the premier destination for employers and workers alike. And whereas the International Economic Development Council has been a leader in advancing economic development initiatives with a steadfast commitment to fostering growth and prosperity, as well as recognizing the contributions of economic development professionals and organizations in shaping vibrant, competitive local economies. Therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do recognize this week, the week of May 12th through the 16th, 2025, as Economic Development Week in Cobb County, and we encourage all of our residents, businesses, and community partners to acknowledge the important contributions of economic development professionals and support of their ongoing efforts that strengthen Cobb County's economy through innovation, inclusivity, and resilience. This is the 13th day of May 2025. Congratulations.
So I'd just like to thank and acknowledge my staff, Brittany Rasmussen, who leads our small business programs, and Lynn Guin, although she's our admin, she leads all the film permitting processing at the county and helps us with all of our programs and projects that we do in the county to support entrepreneurship, small business, and economic development. So I'd like to say thank you to both of you, and thank you to our partners who some I see in the room today who support economic development, job creation, and continued investment into Cobb County. And thank you to the board and you, Chairwoman, for your support as well.
Thank you. Their team is small but mighty. Please give them a hand. That concludes our presentation portion of the meeting, and we are now at our first public comment.
Chairwoman, as the board provides the podium for public comment, it's appropriate for us to review some of those related meeting rules. When you come forward, if you would please state your name and if you're speaking on behalf of an organization. All comments should be made to the commission as a body and addressed through the chair. Public comment is not a dialogue with the board, but an opportunity for the speakers to provide their comments to the board. Comments should not be slanderous. The board encourages, regardless of the topic, for the audience to be respectful and courteous to all speakers. Everyone attending this meeting should give others the right to both listen and to be heard by treating each other with civility. Statements made during the public comments portion do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the board or the administration of Cobb County government, and there's a 3-minute timer that's on the podium. And the first speaker is Mr. Stevenson.
Tracy Stevenson, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Allen, welcome to the BOC. I will take you at your word about a few things that you talked about on the campaign trail. You're going to endeavor to work across the aisle, protect our neighborhoods, be fiscally conservative, and put Cobb citizens' needs first. I believe you, and I'm hopeful. I'll also be here to help with that if you need it. You know, I've offered my services from this podium multiple times. I have yet anybody take me up on it, but I swear I bathe regularly and I work hard. But I will hold everybody accountable. I will hold you in particular accountable because you're my rep. And I will trust but verify. But as I said, at this point, I believe you. But I'm hopeful that this is the beginning of a more positive and bipartisan BOC that's not about blue or red, us versus them, but truly is for the good of all the people of Cobb. So let's hope today is a good day moving forward. Thank you.
The next speaker is Timothy Ray.
Again, I'm Timothy Rice, and I'm representing myself and I guess you'd call my neighbors. Congratulations to Mr. Allen on your 58-42 victory against your opponent. That said, it was not as decisive as the citizens who voted 62-38 against the mobility splost. My guess is you would have voted to have that referendum. And when I first heard you address potential voters at the BSA open forum, I left my head scratching, thinking about an unsolicited comment that you had made about DOGE and the concern that you and other nonprofit charities had about funding. It makes sense when one understands that you've been on the board of the Georgia Coalition for Recovery, which is a public charity. Weirdly, that public charity gets 80% or $4 million out of the $5 million annual budget from grants according to their 990. I repeat, $4 million. That's not a public charity, that's an extension of the government. And even if you agree that the coalition does great work, you have to remember that the money allocated with other grants has attached to it other money that goes to overhead and other things before it even gets to some of these organizations as grants. Ironically, the Delaware Coalition, which has a location in Savannah, Georgia, was not helpful to a neighbor of mine who died 2 Fridays ago of a drug overdose. That said, I was very pleased to hear this morning what's happening in Cobb County with respect to help for those who have addictions. And the reason I mention this with respect to fiscal responsibility is that the Cobb County budget receives numerous federal and state grants. You've got the Emergency Solutions Grant funded by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Community Development Block Grants, also from HUD, Community Block Grants for poverty programs, and Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, which is awarded by the Department of Energy. I can only imagine how many grants would have come to the county if the mobility splost had been approved and not negated by the citizens of this county. Thank you.
The next public speaker is J.T. Jackson.
Hello there. Good morning, everyone. Congratulations, Commissioner Allen. Very excited to see a chair that's not empty anymore on this Board of Commissioners, especially the one that represents the part of the county that I live in. I just wanted to bring up two things that I've noticed in my walks around Cumberland. One being the west side of Cumberland Boulevard and Acres Mill Road. Foliage is blocking the sidewalk, nearly pushing pedestrians off into the street if you're looking to cross the street on that side of the road. And there's also a lack of crosswalk on the new on-ramp to the express lanes on that west side. The east side has one. The west side has buttons for a pedestrian crossing, but no actual crosswalk paint. I think that'd be really important to look at, especially leading into the All-Star game this summer and Braves games, for the rest of the year. That's an important intersection for pedestrians. Another piece of infrastructure is the Bob Callan Trail. Specifically, the underpass sections, runoff has left kind of sludgy mud on that section of trail for at least 3 months now. So if that could be addressed either through a new drainage system, if there's a drainage system in place that needs to be unclogged, I would really appreciate that being checked out for the community. Again, congratulations, Commissioner Allen, and thank you for the time.
The next speaker is Christine Rosman.
Yes, as Ms. Rosman comes up, I'd like for you, our prior speaker, to connect with our DOT director. He's standing in the back. As you are seeing issues in this community, please know you have a direct line to reach out to our director.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, and congratulations, Commissioner Allen. And I will say what a lot of people will say, well, a lot of people I know, it's nice to have some testosterone up at the dais. So, although you ladies have been doing a lovely job, it's nice to have some balance and representation. Thank you. I'd like to talk about some of the consent items that are on today's agenda that do not seem to be appropriate. One would be number 8 about the Cobb link. It should be on the regular agenda, and we need to stop taking grant money. There are existing infrastructure that is already there, rideshare. And we need to use that. It's like, I was thinking about this morning, and I remember growing up, it was like we were served lima beans, and none of us liked them. We had to eat them because that was what's served, but when we moved out of the house, none of us ever cooked lima beans again. We may have done broccoli and cauliflower, but never lima beans. And the Cobb link, it's never going to be the same. It's not. And in theory, it would be great if everybody used it, but after the pandemic, whatever, they're not using it. People made adjustments, got a job closer to where they live. It's not being utilized, but we're paying for it, and you have a lot of dark windows so that nobody can see that, like every time you see a bus and nobody's in it. So also is number 9 about the disadvantaged businesses. Just curious if that is also just like code for DEI organizations, if those are the ones that are disadvantaged. Because when we're taking grant money from ARC and from the federal government, it's not in our best interest, our being the taxpayers. Number 11, the precinct cards. We need more of an explanation of that for the taxpayers. part of that is all clumped together with the repercussions of what that the home rule fiasco created. And also is the air conditioning for Must Ministries. That should be on the regular consent items or regular agenda, and we shouldn't be paying for charities. Thank you.
The next speaker is Craig Harfoot.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name's Craig Harfoot, and three things. Trailer on the consent agenda. I wish you would pull that and talk about it a minute, because when I went for the appeal on my property this year, I questioned them. You know, how do you come up with these numbers? Because they got everybody uniformly assessed, and you got apples, oranges, pears being equally assessed, and you know, not the buildings are not equal, the lots are not equal, what you can do with the property is not equal. And what I was told is that they used a company. It was Trailer. Now, I know this one was for just business, personal property, but apparently they got another contract that is the algorithm that creates all these false comps that we have that keeps raising our assessments just because the latest and greatest gets appraised. You know, somebody borrows too much money on something that isn't that great, and then they go, okay, everybody's is worth this. That's what I would love for you to explain to us today, or at some point. But anyhow, assessors are supposed to look at the property, go see that it's not equal, but you're using a consultant to just say they all are equal. And it makes the unaffordability issue even greater, because all you got to do is come in and buy a few properties and overpay for them, and suddenly everybody's property is reassessed up. And the other thing, I saw the dark window on the bus. That was when I was leaving last meeting. I was looking at the bus and I couldn't see through the windows, and I know that tint, you wouldn't be allowed to have that in a car. The police would pull you over and give you a ticket. And I thought that was pretty sketch. But then another thing I saw was they were spraying, and I assume it's Roundup, but you guys would know what you buy in DOT, but they're spraying all the weeds down Johnson's Ferry. And today they said, oh, Georgia's the second state to defer liability for suits against Roundup. So, I mean, our employees, whoever's using, and it was a Cobb DOT truck that was spraying it, this guy may end up with cancer one day because he's using this stuff, you know, and it's because you put a median up. It's not just asphalt. So in the cracks, all the weeds grow. And it's something, you know, it's public health. And when it rains, all that stuff washes off into our water supply. So these are all things we should think about for a better Cobb for everybody. Thanks.
Chairwoman, that's the last of our public speakers this morning.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. There are a number of modifications to the consent agenda prior to public comment, and then opportunity for us to address some of the matters discussed in public comment as part of our regular agenda. So please bear with me. Commissioners, I would like to start by acknowledging yesterday that we did pull the property management item from consent. That was agenda item number 37. Thank you. Excuse me. That's on regular. We've had revisions to, give me one moment, Commissioners. To consent, I see to add two items, one that we discussed yesterday with respect to the HVAC chiller in our Sheriff's Department, and then also the workers' comp claim that we discussed yesterday. those are all I'm seeing from yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pam. Okay. So why don't I go ahead and make a motion that we add those to consent, and then we can discuss what came up in public comment to see if they're any worth.
Before we do that, Chair, I need to pull an item from consent.
Okay.
I need to pull item number 19. There was an administrative issue to come up after review of the application, so we'll need to pull that one.
Okay, so we'll pull the one with respect to the License Review Board.
Did we schedule for a hearing or what?
Let's just pull it and then we'll, yeah, we can pull it for today and then have further discussion. Yeah. All right, with that, Commissioners, I move that we add the following non-agenda item to the consent agenda, which is to authorize the procurement director to advertise for and accept sealed bids for the purchase and installation of an HVAC chiller. There a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Is this a motion just to add it to consent?
It's a motion to add it to consent.
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0. I also move that we approve adding this other non-agenda item to consent, which is to authorize settlement of workers' compensation claim on behalf of Don Tavius Daniel. Is there a second to add that to consent?
Second.
Is there any discussion? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Commissioners, there were a number of matters that were addressed. Is there consideration for removing the Cobb link matter to regular? There's no issue in us addressing the comments of those that were here. I will go ahead and just pull it so we can address it. Also, there were questions with respect to the DBE program plan. Is there any interest in discussing that item? That is a regular item that we do see come before us. That was the DBE program was approved by Congress in 1983. This is not a code for DEI. So I don't know if.
It is a federal requirement for the
also a federal requirement.
project.
Yeah.
But as a result of grant money, I believe Drew responded to a constituent I had that asked that.
Why don't we go ahead and discuss it? We also have agenda item 11 for elections. There was some conversation with respect to that. Is there interest in keeping that or pulling that from consent?
Well, I'm not sure what further conversation we can have around it. I'm okay with leaving it on consent.
I'm asking the
understand.
question. It came up in conversation yesterday.
Okay. I'm okay with leaving it on.
This is our opportunity to address constituents' concerns. We are here serving our constituents. So I think it's worthwhile having some
And
conversation.
I think we were given an explanation yesterday, and I'm comfortable now, but I'm not sure, just from one question, if the public is.
All right, so we will address
that's-
number 11. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull the items that I have marked from the conversations in public comment, which further include agenda item number 15 with respect to the tax assessor, and the one with respect to emergency management, number 17. So we will plan to discuss that prior to delving into our prescribed regular agenda. All right, with that, Commissioners, I move that we approve our consent agenda as it has been revised with the addition of the items with respect to the HVAC chiller and Don Tavius Daniel, recognizing that we pulled agenda item number 19 completely from consideration of today's BOC meeting, and that we are pulling the following items for discussion as part of our regular meeting. They include agenda items 8 and 9 under transportation. And they also include 11 under elections and 15 under our tax assessor, and finally 17 under emergency management. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So 17, we're going to be discussing. Number 21, I'm opposed to, and number 41, which was added to consent for the sheriff.
Okay, may the clerk note that opposition, please. Okay, are there any other comments? All right, we'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, and with that, our first matters up are under DOT.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager Drew Ressler with DOT. Just for a point of clarification, Chairwoman, would you like me to present just number 8 and 9, and then allow the other items and then come back for the regular tab?
Yes, please. Let's go ahead and discuss them individually. We'll vote on them individually.
Of course.
Yeah.
Agenda item number 8 is to recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution authorizing submission of an FY25 Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program grant request to the Federal Transit Administration in an amount not to exceed $14,946,363 for procurement of 18 compressed natural gas buses for Cobb Link, authorize acceptance of allocated Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program grant funding, authorize reallocation of previously approved federal and local funding for procurement of 10 compressed natural gas replacement buses in the amount of $8,193,500, authorize corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman or her designee to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you. I would like to get to the question of the use of grant dollars through this program. If you can talk about its utility as far as assisting Cobb Link.
Absolutely. This particular item is to replace formula funds with discretionary funds that were awarded by ARC. The Federal Transit Administration has a number of different programmatic categories that allocates funding to transit agencies based on ridership, number of miles, formula that includes that information. Those funds are tied to specific general programs, but not tied to specific projects. Okay. The ARC opportunity that we had, that the board approved the department to apply to, was subsequently awarded, is specifically for the replacement of buses. And what this agenda item does is it supplants the formula funds that are more general in nature with these ARC funds that are more specific in nature. That allows for those funds to be freed up for other operating and capital purposes within the transit program. Those purposes would have to come back to the board for approval. And then the specific bus replacements that are contemplated within this agenda item are replacement of local fixed route bus services that have reached end of useful life. Useful life is 10 to 12 years and 500,000 miles. This provides for replacement of those vehicles, not an increase to the fleet.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions with respect to this item? With that, I move that we approve agenda item number 8 as it has been presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item that was pulled for consideration on regular is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve work order number G8 to the master contract with Crawford Murphy and Tilley Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $4,584 to update the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program Plan for FY24 through FY26 for Cobb County International Airport, McCollum Field. Authorize a corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you. I shared when we pulled this from consent I think it's important that we not conflate this word DEI with every program that's been in existence that does take into consideration that there is difference in how many businesses have been treated historically. The history of looking at DBE programs predates even the term of DEI. The Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, again, was put in place by Congress in 1983, and I believe that was under the presidency of Ronald Reagan. So even at that time, they considered the opportunity to be able to provide an elevated consideration of participation of those who have not historically had the same opportunities to get opportunities with procurement with the federal government or with local county governments. Also, as Commissioner Burrow shared, this is a requirement of us having these projects by the federal government. So this is not a nice to do, this is something that we do have to do. I don't know if you want to add anything else to that, Drew.
Certainly, I believe you've covered it. Just a little bit of additional information is the grant fundings in particular being considered within this agenda item that obligate this DBE plan are from the Federal Aviation Administration, and the FAA requires that recipients of airport funding in excess of $250,000 are required to hold an active and compliant DBE plan in order to be eligible for those grant funds. The original DBE plan for the airport was approved by the Board of Commissioners in July of 2004. It's been updated in the 20 years since. This particular update is being required just due to some minor modifications to the CFR that will be considered as part of what Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley will update.
Thank you. All right, yes, Commissioner Burrow.
You just said what I was going to point out as well, that FAA governs the airport, and having served on the advisory board to the airport for the last, I guess, 10 years.
That's right.
It's a requirement, federal requirement that we have to comply with. But, and as you pointed out, it's disadvantaged business. It's not DEI related, but you know, they still have to meet all the qualifications for any bids or proposals that come forward. So thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, Commissioners, I move that we approve agenda item number 9 as it has been presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Drew. We'll now go on to elections.
Good morning, Chairwoman,
Good
Commissioners, County Manager. Item number 11 is to ratify previous action by the County Manager authorizing an agreement with No Inc. LLC for the production and mailing of countywide special precinct cards related to the special elections and commission districts 2 and 4, and ratify the County Manager's emergency action to timely secure these services.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any concerns with respect to this item prior to our motion? Yes, Commissioner Gambrill.
I brought this up yesterday, but I think this goes back to issues that are actually brought to the Board of Elections on a routine basis, and the public is not seeing the Board of Elections take action on the essentially inactive voters. Because again, yesterday I found it interesting, you know, according to the Secretary of State's page, we have 516,000 voters registered, but we are paying for 592,000+ voter cards. So that can be considered a waste of taxpayer dollars, because we, the elections, are not doing what we're supposed to do. And again, not going there, it's not our wheelhouse, but it begs the question, why aren't we taking the steps to clean up the voter rolls that we are supposed to be following per the law? And I think that's where the citizens are getting upset, is because there are laws out there, there are procedures and processes, but they're not being done, which is resulting in inefficiencies and excessive spending of taxpayer dollars. Another question that I asked Bill Volkman after the meeting, because I forgot to, because I was rather disappointed with your answer in work session, but it is my understanding that this money is actually coming from the 1.5 million that had been allocated towards the special elections. And I got that from Bill, just so the rest of the board knows that this is not additional funding, it is actually funding that is coming from that 1.5 million that was allocated last fall, I believe it was, towards that.
Thank you for raising that point, Commissioner. I'd like to point out, as you mentioned, there are very strict laws regarding voter list maintenance, and our office follows all of those. We cannot remove inactive voters just because they're inactive. There's a process that's in place. So someone gets placed inactive either because they don't vote in a 4-year election cycle, 2 federal elections, and then they're placed inactive, or when we do a voter list maintenance mailing, which this is considered that since it went out to all registered voters, if that information, if that mail gets returned to our office, returned to sender with no forward, then that person is placed as an inactive because we believe they've moved and they haven't updated their voter registration status. Once they're inactive for 4 years, 2 more federal election cycles, then we're legally allowed to remove them. So we had to wait until the last federal election cycle was over in December. Secretary of State put out a press release at the beginning of the year letting everyone know how many voters across the state will be removed. Those voters are going to be removed in the next 2 months. And so all of those requirements in terms of keeping our lists clean and keeping them updated, we keep up with those on a daily basis. So we are in compliance with all the laws that are required for voter list maintenance here in Georgia and federally.
Thank you. So that would be prompted by the state?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, commissioners, do you have any other questions? With that, Tate, I move that we approve agenda item number 11 as it has been presented.
Second.
All right, is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, next up, we are at our tax assessor portion of consent, agenda item number 15.
Commissioners, Chairwoman.
Good morning.
Stephen White, Support Services Agency Director, Christine Stinchcomb, our Chief Appraiser. This item is to request the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Trailer Business Services in an amount not to exceed $100,000 annually for audits on business, personal property accounts, authorizing corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the Chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you, Stephen. And good to see you this morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Can you talk a little bit about our use of our third party that does our tax assessments?
Trailer Business Services is a new vendor to the county. We have not used them for business personal property assets. I believe Mr. Harfoot was referring to real estate, so there may be some confusion there. This is in regards to business personal property assets. The law does require the assessor's office to go through this project. We have had a project like this in place for a number of decades. The Department of Revenue asks us what the process is when they visit us every 3 years. We would be happy to sit down with Mr. Harfoot and address any concerns he may have.
Thank you for distinguishing that. There's assessment of personal property accounts of our businesses, and then there's real estate taxation, which are different matters. Thank you. With that, Commissioners, do you have any other comments or questions for our assessor and director? With that, I move that we approve agenda item number 15 as it has been presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have emergency management number 17.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, and County Manager. The item for consideration this morning is to approve a memorandum of understanding with Musk Ministries to provide cooling shelter services in Cobb County with a total cost of $108,000 and authorize the Chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you. I asked for us to address this because there was a comment shared, and I don't want misinformation to linger
Yes, ma'am.
about this grant funding our charities. Can you talk about the relationship that we have with MUST with respect to this program?
Yes, we've been doing this, now this will be our second summer. Last summer, we also had an MOU with MUST, and we just finished our warming shelter services with them. We have a great partnership. We're able to serve thousands of people with this service. This service particularly will be for cooling, and that will be during the daytime hours when temperatures are 90 degrees and above. So we will be supporting them. They'll be able to get a cool place to stay and of course, a meal as well.
Thank you. And what I'd like to share is that this is an initiative of the county, not of MUST. And we've had conversations with a number of partners because of concerns about people being outside during very extreme temperatures, whether they're extreme cold, and now that we're moving into the summer months during extreme heat. So this cost to provide this service is not necessarily to fund MUST operation, but they're coming in and acting as our partner. We had originally contemplated bringing people into county facilities, and thus the amount of effort to do that.
Yes. Staffing alone.
The staff,
we don't
yes,
have it.
staffing alone. We knew that we just did not have the resources of individuals on hand to do that. But because MUST has been a partner in helping people through similar circumstances, they were able to step up. And again, this was our conversation with multiple partners. They are just the one that has risen to the occasion on both instances. For any other nonprofits that are listening to this, if this is something that you're interested in helping to provide, we know that there are needs throughout the county. We would just ask that you reach out to emergency management to see how you may assist. The cost of us walking through this community and seeing people suffering is detrimental for us, and the cost of having to address that on the back end is terrible. I believe there was even I don't want to talk about it, but when you have people passing away at our public facilities that could be out in those extreme temperatures, the cost that it takes to address that on the back end versus doing something proactive on the front end does not compare. So I think that this is a helpful initiative that we do have. We have not come close to spending the budgeted amount for this, but I believe the hundreds, if not more than hundreds of people and families that we've been able to touch during the past couple of years with respect to this program has been a reflection of who we are as a county, that we want to reflect the best, and reflecting the best means not walking out and seeing people suffering during those extreme temperatures, which I have seen coming out of this office and on my way home, which I just don't think for a county of our size, of our affluence, of our opportunity, that that's acceptable for us or our visitors to see as they're driving through Cobb County. Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you. And Cassie, good morning. I know you've worked hard on this for the last couple of years, and I commend you on all that. And I commend MUST. They do a great job with the programs that they have. But I don't feel that, well, first of all, this is in the budget, and it has been the last 2 years at the $500,000 amount. I don't think it's the role of government to do this for nonprofits, and we do it for one. We're going to get a lot of requests for others, and I would like to revisit this if it's going to be in the budget again this year, to maybe reduce the amount if we've only spent $100,000 or more in that range on the warming shelters, and we're allocating another 108 for the cooling shelters. That leaves another 300,000 that's unused. And if we reoccur this year after year, maybe reducing it to 200 or 250, we can look at even that if it's, going to be part of the budget that's passed in July. So I just like to request that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
For actual
I think that's,
numbers.
Yep, that makes
Thank you.
sense. Yeah. Yes, Commissioner Gambrill.
And then I would just like to add on to that, because yes, this has been in the budget, and yes, I have voted no on the budget, but this is one of the reasons why is, today I'm hearing words like grants and conversations, But I was never included in any of those conversations to select must as the recipient. And that is why I don't support this. It's not that I don't support helping people in need, but we are essentially giving must a heads up over other nonprofit agencies, which as a government we should not be doing. We should be treating them all equally. And we have other ministries throughout the county that offer the same services, but we're not offering to help pay their expenses to help people either be cooled or heated or provide a meal to. So it's not that I don't support the work of our nonprofits, but I do not support this agenda item.
Thank you, and I think that's fair. I want to make it clear that this offer has been made to multiple ministries. They are not precluded from receiving assistance. In fact, I have a faith leaders meeting every quarter where we have multiple members of our faith community that come that helped us in determining that this was something that we wanted to pursue prior to putting the program in place. We've had a number of them inquire about how they can have such services provided at their locations. And when we discussed some of the things that we would like to address as far as liability, that's when things started to narrow down and MUST arose to become a partner. Now, what MUST has done is they've partnered with other nonprofits. So they are able to help with some of their processes and onboarding people through these programs, and then they're able to go to other locations from the MUST facility. So I don't want to give an impression that this is just going towards MUST. As a commissioner, I once had concerns about how we were precluding nonprofits from other opportunities. Which is why
we have done our due diligence with reaching out to all of our partners, and one of the selling points that is with MUST is the fact that they do offer security, which is so important. Being able to make sure that everyone within the facility is safe. They have the metal detectors. They have security staff on scene, which makes it a more pleasant atmosphere and safe atmosphere for everyone who does visit that facility.
Thank you. Yes, their screening.
Their screening is very important, and most of the others don't have that capability.
Yes. Thank you, though. Go.
And Cassie, if you can just talk a little bit and just add a little context about MUST's infrastructure. So in particular, during the winter, when they serve as a warming shelter, there are additional wraparound services, including placing families at shelters. If you can just kind of talk a little bit about that as well.
So during the winter months, they have the Hope House that they have for a shelter, but they also set up their dining area with cots, and we have been able to provide some cots as well as hygiene kits, towels, washcloths. We've provided that as well to support the effort. And what they do is they screen the individuals that come in. They check to see if they're sex offenders. They check to see if there's any kind of criminal warrants or anything like that that needs to be dealt with, and then they are able to enter the facility safely because they know they don't have a weapon or anything on them that could hurt anyone. They are provided a meal, and then they're given a place to stay. In the event, I can say so far, they haven't had to use a lot of overflow. We have used overflow at Transfiguration Catholic Church for women. They are a supportive partner, and that's a partnership between MUST and the church itself to use those overflow spaces. But most of the people are able to stay at the actual Hope House to get services. If there are families that need a place to stay, we provide hotel vouchers for them so the families are kept intact and no children are ever in the actual shelter itself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And let me just share, there was no direct intent to partner with MUST. In fact, we considered, again, using county facilities.
We did.
And Cassie and other partners in the community spent months assessing, contacting other communities, reaching to several nonprofits, holding meetings to determine how to move this program forward. And again, MUST prove to be a helpful partner, particularly when it comes to the screening elements, and as Commissioner Sheffield helped us to see the other wraparound services that can be provided.
Yes, and they do. They actually have that service. So each individual that comes into the shelter meets with a counselor, and any other services that can be provided are given. And that's something that on the county level we would not be able to provide.
Thank you. I do support Commissioner Burrell's observation. Maybe we need to right-size the funding for this, but
And I will say, in addition to the shelter, emergency sheltering funds were not just intended for this homeless community effort. It was also if there is a large disaster that we need to support the community as well. On June 15th last year, we had a large apartment fire that I was able to use some of that funding to help put people in hotels until we were able to get the reimbursement for the rent that they had been paid, and until the Red Cross could step in. So we had about 70 people that were homeless essentially during that fire that those funds were able to accommodate. So there is a sense of that money could be used. Of course, I would reach out to the county manager and the board before we would pursue anything like that, but that funding is there in case that's needed. And I never know when that could be. Could be anytime.
all right. Are there any other comments or questions? Thank you, Cassie. Appreciate your
Thank you.
presentation this morning. With that, Commissioners, I move that we approve the agenda item as it has been presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there further discussion? I'll call the question. The motion carries 3-2 with Commissioners Burrell and Gamble in opposition. With that, that now takes us to the regular agenda, and our first tab up will be Department of Transportation.
Good morning again. DOT has 9 items on the regular tab for your consideration this morning. Our first item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Advanced Sports Construction LLC in an amount not to exceed $141,006 for drainage system repairs on Wheelio Ridge Court, project number B22162. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Put my mic on. Commissioner Burrell.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Chatfield Contracting Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $213,474.71 for drainage system repairs on Regents Park Lane, project number B2223. Authorize a corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Burrell.
Motion to approve.
I'll second. Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Prior to reading the next item, I would like to thank our state legislators for their support in this local roads administration program.
Yes.
This agenda item provides an additional $8 million for critical capital maintenance that we would not have had otherwise.
Yes.
So this item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of a local maintenance and improvement grant program application for the FY25 supplement to the Georgia Department of Transportation for local road assistance administration funding for 6 transportation improvement projects, authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of a freight cluster plan grant application to the Atlanta Regional Commission to develop a Cobb County freight cluster plan and authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. Waiting for what, Commissioner Burrell? Oh, for some reason.
I hit the wrong button here.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Advanced Sports Construction LLC in an amount not to exceed $242,552.25 for drainage system repairs on Honeysuckle Lane, project number B22146. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Allen.
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0, and your seatmate is encouraging you to use your microphone. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve change orders final to contracts for various completed resurfacing projects in the 2022 SPOS Transportation Improvements Program Fund and Water System Fund, a total net savings to the projects in the amount of $5,603,458.62. authorize a corresponding budget and accounting transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution to approve the Title VI Service Equity Analysis for recommended service modifications to Cobb Link commuter service routes 100, 101, and 102, and authorize implementation of the recommended service modifications effective June 16th, 2025.
Commissioner Gamble.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution to approve the Title VI Service Equity Analysis for a recommended service modification to the Cobb Link Green Circulator Service and authorize implementation of the recommended service modification effective June 15th, 2025.
All right. So moved.
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion? Drew, I should have shared this when we were considering item number 32, but remember we had comments of concern of cutting some of the express routes. Maybe that's not 32. Is that 32? Yes, the commuter service routes.
Yes, ma'am.
And you explained yesterday that the expansion of the ATL service should help to provide additional coverage.
That's correct. And that is item number 34
Okay.
is the agreement with the ATL for that partnership funding for the enhancements to Route 484.
Okay. All right, with that, Commissioners, we do have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, we'll call the question. Commissioner Brawford, I know what's, okay. It's okay, the motion carries 5-0. Drew, thank you, I believe that concludes.
I have
Do
one
we
more.
have one more? Oh,
Keep me honest. I
I
believe I
don't-
just went through 33.
Okay,
Should be on
thank you.
34. Okay, thank you.
I don't know
And our
if
final
that was
item this
34.
morning is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve an intergovernmental agreement with the Atlanta Region Transit Link Authority for the continuation and expansion of express commuter bus service in Cobb County effective June 16th, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you, Commissioners, and forgive me, I was off a number, and that's why. We're on track now. With that, I move that we approve this agenda item as it has been presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
That now takes us to Public Services, and our first agency up is Parks.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, Madam County Manager. Parks has two items for consideration this morning. Our first item is the Board of Commissioners to approve a project agreement with Controlled Access Incorporated for installation of county's enterprise control and surveillance system in 6 county parks facilities under the 2022 Parks Plus program. The installation includes security cameras at the Silver Comet Trail Cycles at Floyd Road Trailhead, Lost Mountain Tennis Center, Terrell Mill Tennis Center, Fair Oaks Tennis Center, Fuller's Recreation Center, and the Mabel House Arts Center. Total cost of this phase will be $167,602.78. We ask the Board of Commissioners to approve the project agreement with Controlled Access Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $167,602.78 for the installation of the Avigilon security cameras and associated systems at 6 park facilities. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the Director of Procurement Services to execute the necessary documents.
Thank you. So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question.
And I apologize, Commissioner Sheffield, you asked yesterday during work session. They are compatible to the Real-Time Crime Center. They have the capability to be on that system.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Our second item is.
I just wanted to announce the, vote. It did pass 5-0. Yes, thank you. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Our second item is to approve a contract with Nix Fowler Constructors Incorporated to provide construction services for exterior and interior renovations at Boots Ward Recreation Center under the 2022 Parks Plus program. This contract will include roof repairs, gym floor replacement, exterior and interior painting, and general renovations to the facility. We ask the Board of Commissioners to approve a contract with Nix Fowler Constructors Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $549,032. Authorize the corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. That now takes us to support services, and we have one matter that has been withdrawn from property management. So that will take us now to our second public comment.
There's no one that signed up for the second portion of the public comment.
Very good. And we are now at the appointment tab, and I will defer to Commissioner Gamble for the first one.
I would like to approve the appointment of Megan Timko to the Region 1 Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities Planning Board.
All right, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. And the second one is Commissioner Allen.
I'd like to announce the appointment of Terry Anulowitz to the SPLOST Citizens Oversight Committee, filling the seat of Jackie Bedadapour, who will be moving away from Cobb County. We wish her well and thank her for her service.
Yes, thank you, appreciate that. And happy to have Terry aboard. She was our former legislator, and she is still remaining active in Cobb, which is a pleasure to see. And good to see you this morning. All right, and final one is Commissioner Sheffield.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to announce the appointment of Tierra Smith to Keep Cobb Beautiful.
Very good, thank you. That now takes us to the Commissioner's public address, and once we have slides pulled up, we'll begin with Commissioner Gambrill.
Ready for a berry sweet adventure this weekend? Use our U-Pick map to discover Georgia-grown farms where you can pick fresh blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and flowers. Georgia's U-Pick farms offer a fun, hands-on way to experience the state's rich agricultural heritage. You can scan the QR code to learn more and taste the best of Georgia, one basket at a time. And along with May flowers, this month also brings the flower moon. May's full moon is called the flower moon because of the blossoms that spring brings. According to the Old Farmer's Almanac, the flower moon reached its peak at 12:56 p.m. on Monday, May 12th, but it appeared full on Monday night and will continue to be visible on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I really like that map of the berry picking. I have to use that, yeah. All right, we'll go ahead to Commissioner Allen.
Thank you. Those are my slides. That's all right. I don't have nice fancy slides yet. I've been drinking water through a fire hose, so. But I did just want to thank the members of this board for welcoming me in, having multiple conversations. Also with the agencies that I have visited and the staff, you guys are amazing. Have been very detailed in getting me up to speed, especially Director Ressler on the circulator and the commuter routes. That was very enlightening, so I thank you for the multiple meetings and phone calls and emails on that issue. But I look forward to working alongside each of you, supporting our staff, and doing all I can to support not only District 2, but all of Cobb County.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner, and I'm grateful to have you aboard. Commissioner Brawl.
Yes, welcome aboard, Eric. Okay, last week we had the honor of celebrating the new fire training facility on Valor Drive. This was an awesome event. It's remarkable what has been done from the old police training to now the fire training. It's beautiful and accessible, and congratulations to Dr. Cunningham, our fire chief, and all the staff that put a lot of work in here. This is National Police Week. I have to give equal time here. So National Police Week is May 11th through the 17th. It's designated as a time to honor, remember, and support those in law enforcement while allowing survivors and citizens to gather and pay homage to those who gave their lives in the line of duty. This was proclaimed May 15th is proclaimed as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and that was established in 1962 by President Kennedy. It's established by a joint resolution of Congress in 1962. And this weekend, if you've never been, you need to go to the Greek Festival in Marietta on Trickham Road at Holy Transfiguration Greek Festival, Greek Orthodox Church. The Greek Festival is phenomenal. The food is excellent, the entertainment, the dancing, everything. So you have a chance to go this Friday through Sunday, May 16th through the 18th. So go and enjoy. You can get more information at MariettaGreekFestival.com. And also remember on Memorial Day, Monday, Memorial Day, the not this Monday, but a week from Monday, those that have given their lives and sacrificed for our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sheffield?
Thank you, Chair. I want to begin today by sharing a personal moment of gratitude. This past Friday, on my mom's birthday, I was officially sworn in for my second term as District 4 Commissioner. I am truly honored and humbled by the opportunity to continue serving the residents, not only of South Cobb and Southwest Cobb, but all of Cobb County. Representing District 4 is not something I take lightly. Over the past 4 years, we've made significant strides, and I look forward to building on that momentum to improve the quality of life for our families, our neighborhoods, and our future. Thank you for your trust, your partnership, and your commitment to making District 4 a place we're all proud to call home. Join me in Cobb Parks this Saturday, May 17th, for the grand opening of the brand-new Milford Recreation Center located at 675 Smyrna Powder Springs Road in Marietta. The event will take place from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. and promises something for everyone in the family. We'll have a variety of food trucks offering delicious bites, carnival games, and inflatables for the kids, and live fitness and recreation demonstrations that showcase the many programs that will be available at the center. Guests will also have the opportunity to take guided tours of the facility, which features new amenities, upgraded spaces, and resources designed to serve residents of all ages. This is a major investment in our community, and we're excited to celebrate it with you. Come out and bring the family and be part of this exciting moment for District 4. I had the honor of joining members of the community, former Governor Barnes, Chairwoman Cupid, several of my fellow elected officials for the groundbreaking of the new Chick-fil-A in Mableton, located on Veterans Memorial and Hickory Trail. This project, which was approved by the Board of Commissioners during the zoning process back in November 2023, represents more than just a new place to grab a meal. It's a step forward in the continued redevelopment of South Cobb. This new Chick-fil-A will help revitalize the Veterans Memorial Corridor, bring in new jobs to the area, and contribute to our local economy. I'm excited to see the positive impact this project will have, and I look forward to welcoming more developments like this that will reflect the potential and progress of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheffield, and I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate you publicly on your reelection.
Thank you.
Yeah, so please help me in welcoming her in her second term. And thank you, all of you. Thank you for tuning into our meetings and for coming and participating. We look forward to having you continue to come to our meetings, and so just encourage you to stay abreast of what we have going on. Check out our website, and now that we have a District 2 Commissioner, I'm sure he has positions to fill a lot, so if any of you are interested in serving on board positions, he's also available. I'm looking out and I see Megan Timko. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you earlier. Congratulations to you for also being appointed to one of our boards today. With that, thank you, and everybody have a wonderful rest of your day.